knows you can't put a Pisces with a Leo when flying a deadly drone. It's just not going to happen.
To join the Army, recruits have to show high skills, discipline, and spiritual energy. Well, now we can see that the stars on the American flag are not just there to represent states, but to also guide people based on their zodiac sign. The U.S. Army has baffled netizens again, right on the heels of the infamous woke recruitment video, with an Instagram story that suggests different specialities for various zodiac signs. And there's an Instagram post here by Go Army. Should we just play it, or are we going to get a problem here?
I don't know. Oh, this is the recruitment video?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Play a little bit, I guess.
It's just text. So
it's just text to music. Yeah, forget it.
The text reads, wondering what your zodiac sign says about the kind of soldier you could be in the Army?
No, nobody is wondering that.
You'll just have to click through our Instagram story to find the answer, because our lips are sealed over here.
Our lips are sealed.
The post said, presenting several slides listing the assignments best matched for spiritual recruits. Boy, this is not a good sign. I can picture Trump being kind of upset about this one.
I know. Keep reading. Read through this, because there's a lot to say.
I know. Unfortunately, many comments to the post show very little amusement, as people obviously believe that astrology is not the best way for soldiers to choose their career path. Block quote. So I think it's confirmed that a 13-year-old girl is running the U.S. Army's page, one commentator said, summing up the disappointment. Defense One editor Kevin Barron was among the first critics of the post, slamming the U.S. Army and attaching a link to an article about the success of pseudoscience from the satirical website The Onion. And then an observation post, the Military Times op, tweeted out, did the Army hire an astrologer? And then Dan the Lion, former Army Ranger here, what my once proud branch has become is so painful it makes my
it's a clinical word, you can say.
Right, it makes my testicles hurt.
Yeah.
Now we pander to the junk science that is astrology. William Darby is rolling over in his grave. Then another one, the U.S. Army has been hijacked by blue-haired, glasses-wearing, quote, everything is problematic astrology Karens. Last month, the U.S. Army was blasted over a series of animated recruitment ads dubbed The Calling, seeking to appeal to women and minorities in line with the Biden administration's policy to promote equality.
Okay, so a couple of things. As China is having a problem with emasculated boys being obsessed with Korean pop stars and not being
manly,
quote unquote, masculine things. And they are actively creating masculine training camps to get their boys to be a little bit more, manly so they can be good soldiers. The U.S. CIA is, look, they're just trying to be inclusive. They're trying to pull in this new generation of CIA officers, just trying to show that they're not your dad's CIA. And now the U.S. Army also trying ways of pulling in. This one is Gen Z, folks. Look, we can finally stop blaming the millennials for this stuff, because we're all aging out of recruitment. They're just going to put me at a desk if something ever happens. They're not putting me in the field. Maybe I can, I don't know. I'd probably be some sort of logistics person. They wouldn't put a gun in my hand. And certainly Gons, you are going to be some sort of desk jockey, maybe Zoom jockey if something happens.
Sure.
But yeah,
that's a good point. Really good point. Chinese military beefing up their testosterone while they dial it down for the U.S.
Yeah, they're dialing it down, trying to get the baristas to serve their country. And look, I'm sorry, I don't mean to pick on baristas. It's just, we're just making fun here. But yeah, this Zodiac thing, there you go. Do yours. It's like a Facebook quiz. You take your Facebook quiz, figure out your zodiac sign to see which military job you can do. It's and you know how these things are. The thing is, when you think of joining the army, everybody thinks they're going to be a soldier or do something cool. Most of the jobs in the army are they're kind of like your basic everyday jobs. You're just doing it for the government. Lots of administrative stuff, lots of truck driving and, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know, man. I love that this is Sputnik. Like this is
I know
the Russian.
They're just laughing
outlet.
at
Just losing their minds at how silly the U.S. Army is. And of course, it's played up a little bit in this article because they just love bagging on the U.S. But it's not a joke. I mean, that's what they're doing. We're trying to diversify our military forces, which on its face, there's nothing wrong with diversifying the military forces. I think the risk that is being run here is turning off the traditional military talent pool, which is usually, not people from California or New York, but, people from the real America, the hardworking states, who, a lot of times there's financial incentives. You get your college paid for. There's a rich history of military participation in a lot of families. And they're not necessary. I think they're endangering sort of their core demographic. I don't know if anybody's going to choose to not go into the military because of this. But as we saw with that lieutenant colonel, maybe from Space Force, who got busted for just saying that there's Marxist ideology making its way through the military. You have Biden sending out memos to all military branches, basically asking them all to snitch on conservatives, which is crazy. It's just a weird shift, man. And I don't know. It's unprecedented territory. My instincts tell me that this is putting sort of military dominance at a little bit of risk, but I'm also not a professional. I don't know if it really is or not, but it's sort of got that stench wafting off of it.
My analysis is that
we're all going to die.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think you point out the main thing here, which is that, and I wonder if anybody has done analysis, or maybe we haven't been around long enough to really know. Yeah. If there is a internal propaganda of masculinity or demasculinity that it correlates with some kind of military strength
dominance,
or like dominance or fall.
Yeah.
I think culturally, maybe you can make that argument throughout history.
Yeah, there's a lot of historical research to show that, yes, once the sort of strength of masculinity is thrown aside, that societies don't last that long. Yeah.
And I also wonder, yes, this is thrown out there as this kind of ideal. And if you're talking about chaos magic, maybe this is what the controllers ultimately want for the U.S. Army. But I doubt most people in the Army are like stoked about the horoscope, even after something like this.
Well, see, that's the thing. There, It's like we're right in the middle of the culture change. I mean, they are specifically trying to pull in the woo-woo, sort of new agey, blue-haired baristas. While I believe the military is still currently, I mean, look, if you have military buddies, which you and I do, and everybody out there who has military buddies, it is unthinkable that someone who is as sensitive as a Gen Z social justice warrior would last a day in a barracks. I mean, you hear the stories from your military buddies and just the way they speak to each other and the way they treat each other. That is a lawsuit waiting to happen around every corner. And, it's going to be interesting to see the long-term ramifications. It might, I guess part of the influence of why I'm thinking this way is because we saw it with the corporate world, where corporations hired all these social justice warrior types who are hyper focused on diversity, hyper focused on inclusion and equality. And what did we see? We saw basically the destruction of a lot of the corporate entities from the inside due to legal battles regarding leaders of these corporations, always getting in trouble for saying something, getting in trouble for yelling in meetings. There are CEOs who was it? It was the CEO of, not the CEO. It was one of the executives of Netflix, I believe, who yelled in a meeting and got fired. You just yell in meetings. That's what happens. Sometimes you yell, but no, it scared some softies in the meeting and he got fired. And, if you're going to be bringing legal action for somebody yelling at you, I do not think going to boot camp is going to be a very good place for you.
Yeah. And this is also scary because, if you talk about warfare moving into the future, if you're going to have these technologies that are very, very destructive and the buttons to push, the triggering of the weapons are in front of people that get easily triggered, that's not a good sign either. Like somebody that's, I don't know, less competent, less, I don't know if testosterone has anything to do with it, but
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to
more emotionally triggered with the things that are less important. Someone like like your Netflix example.
Yeah.
Imagine if that was a war situation and instead of just firing a guy, he had like some button to nuke a country or something.
Of course.
Like, that could be really bad. Or he's like, oh, you offended me.
You're triggered. It's the most effective soldiers are the ones who stay calm in combat, not the people who are triggered at cultural appropriation. Now, I will say this. I think I just figured it out.
Okay.
I think that the way the military is going, you're not going to have human beings in a lot of the high pressure jobs because the robots are doing the work. Yeah. So you just need a human to press the button on the robot and let the autonomous system do it. They don't need the masculine soldier type. They don't need the killer instincts. You just need to be able to use a game controller and turn on the automatic kill switch and let the drones do the work.
Yeah, it's just recent too that
and everybody knows that Pisces are the best at turning on killer robots.
Are you a Pisces?
No, everybody knows they're the best at killer robots.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that it was recent that some women passed the U.S. Marine boot camp. I guess up until this point, they hadn't really passed it.
Yeah,
yet.
Which is sort of a record-breaking event.
Yeah. So
unfortunately, they had to make the test easier, I think. To make people go through, to make it through. I heard a conversation with somebody who was very passionate about that subject.
Interesting. Yeah,
all right.
I was going to say. All right.
But speaking of killer robots.
Speaking of killer robots, we have a combination here.
Space. Wanna go to space?
The four horsemen of the technopolis.
Anytime you see the four horsemen, it's something special.
CNN.com. Oh, are you going to take it?
All yeah, because you need to take the last one.
Okay.
This is coming from CNN.com, and no episode that includes Elon. We are legally required. If we talk about Elon,
legally.
We're legally required. If we talk about Elon, we have to talk about Jeff Bezos because Elon got the government contract, and the government said, let's give Bezos a participation $8 billion. And so, if you don't, it's about equality, Gons. And this is CNN.com. The headline: Jeff Bezos is going